fun, fun. I wanna have fun, fun, fun. I wanna play, I just wanna play. I wanna have fun, fun, fun. And play my life away. Play with you all day. I wanna do, do, do. I wanna do, do, do. Do what I love, do what I love. I wanna do, do, do. Do it my own way.
So welcome back to the show, and now I have the privilege to have Francine Jarry with me. Good morning, Francine, or bonjour.
Bonjour, good morning, from Montreal.
From Montreal. So how are you today?
I'm fine. It's 11 o'clock. I had a chance to wake up. Thank you.
That's great, that's great. It's a pleasure to have you here because I had the privilege to listen to some of your music, and I must say I discovered you with some of the Teaching of Abraham CD, where you're featuring some of songs, and it's just amazing to be talking to you now and to be here and sharing your wisdom with our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I shared your wisdom on your website. Beautiful, beautiful sections that I found, segments.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't really have a lot of feedback, and it's always good to have some feedback and to know that people like this. So Francine, can you just tell us more about who you are and what you're doing currently in the world?
Well, I'm doing music, which is my love and my passion. And although I did so many other things, I always kept going back to music. And it's when I started putting music together with, let's say, a spiritual wisdom that I had learned over the years, that really things started to work out really well, to move. And when I discovered Abraham Hicks, and started listening, went to my first seminar, and I'd already been writing a lot of positive music because I'd been doing music at the Unity Centers, mostly in Montreal, but in other parts of Canada as well. The songs just start coming to me from listening to Abraham, coming spontaneously. So I put a CD together, which was called Do It for Love, and I sent it to Jerry and Esther Hicks, and apologizing if I'd taken some of their ideas or Abraham's ideas, but I said they'd just come out of me so spontaneously. And then within a few months they called back, and they really wanted to use it, and they put it out as a new adventure. Made a few minor changes and put them out as new adventure. And that was sort of I'd been asking for years. I had all this music. I didn't know where to go with it because it's not exactly top 40. Not yet anyways. And so when this happened, it was like really perfect. I was asking for the perfect venue for my music. And this opened doors all over the world because of their seminars and because of they're being known now all over the world. So I received mail from people everywhere, and it's very gratifying. It's very, I love it. I still don't know where to go and do shows, but but now I seem to be going more towards the children's music, because to get back to the beginning, do you want me to continue talking? When I was learning a lot of really, really interesting things and reading a lot of books and learning about metaphysics and spirituality and how things are and asking all the big questions, why am I here? What's going on? What's this all about? We were being given, I kept finding affirmations, and I said, they're so boring to say. It would be so much easier to sing them. And just like children learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I said, you can put anything, any nice phrase and repeat it, sing it in a very simple way, and it'll stay in your head much easier. And it's a lot more fun. And then the songs just started coming out. And the very first one I wrote was called It's Up to Me If I Want to Be Happy. And that was my very first CD of that nature. Getting away from the sort of traditional country, pop, rock type of music that I'd been doing up till then. Yeah.
Yeah, you just shared before we started this that before really doing this with the teaching of Abraham, you were doing pop music, but also you experienced a piece of contrast that really guide you to be on different paths. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It
Yeah.
was like putting out the CD. It's called Daddy's Gone. Just the title is about the single parenthood. The first song on the album is called Single Mother Blues. It's a really good album, good country album. Although I'm French Canadian, I don't really have a country twang when I sing. So apparently that was a problem to getting it out in the U.S. But it's still a lot of good songs there, and it felt like releasing the past. I did that in 1990. It was released in 1995. Well, sort of released, was ready. So that's almost 20 years ago. And right after that, all the other songs started coming in because I was already, learning a lot of really interesting things. And I've been into, metaphysics and spirituality and spiritual psychotherapy. I'd studied a lot of things like that in the past, going back quite a few years, maybe 30 years. So it came out in my music, yes. And I think I just want to say one thing. I think one thing that made me more of a match to Abraham is the simplicity, because my songs are all very, very simple. They're almost like some of them like short commercials that stick in your head. People write to me that their songs come into their head in the middle of the night or uninvited, and it's like when you get a song in your head and you can't get it out. But if it's a good idea, then it's a good place to have it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that was exactly the kind of question I wanted to ask you, because you said that you study a lot of metaphysics, a lot of human psychology and so on. But then when we listen to your songs, they are so easy and the message is so direct and so forthcoming. That's the best word I can find. So it is really something that inspired us, inspired children, and it's just a way of living, I guess, no?
Yes, yes. And what better place to start than with children? And I had that opportunity in the late 90s, working with a friend of mine with some school choirs. And I asked her, could we try some of my songs with the children and see how they work? And they really worked well, and they loved them. So that was the beginning of, that's just when I put out my second CD, is called Follow the Rainbow. That was really dedicated to children. This was before Abraham. The first one was It's Up to Me, also before Abraham, but it was very much on the same wavelength, What happened with Abraham, and even the Abraham songs, children learn them like really easily. Most of them. Some of them they might not understand, but a song like Joy, 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 or I Can Do It, I know my little granddaughter at 3, 4 years old was singing that because it's easy. It's easy to remember. It's repetitious and it's very simple. But the first Abraham CD, it just kind of came to me. The second, which was New Adventure or Do It for Love, they're the same songs. The second one, I was actually commissioned and asked to do it by Jerry and Esther Hicks, and so then I could actually take a process that they were talking about and have it come out in music. And the interesting thing is, I was going through a rather difficult relationship at the time, and I was on a lot of ups and downs. So I was actually living all these things. I could use them, and I think it kind of helped the songs being born, because I was really having to use these processes to sort of get myself in a better feeling place, and it developed quite nicely, actually. Yeah.
So it is kind of what you're saying here. It's also you use the same processes for your own healing, in fact.
Oh, definitely, yes, yeah.
And then you are sharing whatever energy that these songs are bringing and the words with the rest of the world. Yeah.
Well, I'm not really any different from anyone else. So whatever I'm going through is probably pretty much the same as anyone else, what they're going through. we all have, we live in the world of contrast and adversity, and adversity is what brings you to who you are and forces you to make choices and look into things more. And it's your evolution and learning process. Yes. So it works well, although some of the songs I found when you're really, really in a low place, some of them are a little bit too uplifting and you really don't want to hear them on those days. So because of that, I put a CD together for people that were, let's say, more towards the bottom of what they call the emotional scale, to soothe, to get back up there in an easier way, like a little bit, not so jolting. So because you go one step at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And I have a CD, I don't know if I have it here. It's called I Can Begin Again. And I don't even have it here. It's really, it was never released by Abraham Hicks, but I have a lot of my own releases. But some of the songs were on different CDs. I took all the more quiet ones they're more soothing and comforting. And I actually put it together for the daughter of a friend of mine who was going through cancer and really needed a boost. And apparently it had really worked. So that's how that CD came about. I Can Begin Again. So they're not all completely, I've got the two Abraham CDs. I also put out my own series called Law of Attraction Songs for Well-Being, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. I did that so I could have them available on iTunes, because although the songs were out with Abraham Hicks, I still own the copyright and I still own the songs. They own the CDs that they have. So the songs most of those songs are now available on iTunes and a few other websites I'll tell you maybe at the end, like for contact, if people are looking for them.
Yeah, that would be good, yeah. It was kind of, I have to share this with you because I am a single dad, and so my daughter, she likes what I'm doing, but also she's resisting it, which is probably something that is very common when somebody wants to have a more positive life. And but when she listens to your songs, it's kind of, she's a different girl, for at least the length of the song, and that's really beautiful to see because it's like the message is hitting her at a different level because of the melodies, the songs, the music, and the words, and so on.
Okay, that's nice. How old is she again?
She's 11.
11, okay. That's that tricky age, going into the teen years, and it seems to happen faster these days, younger and younger. Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of an audience that I can reach the younger children when they get to be towards the teen years. I'm not there yet. I think they'd be more into something that's more like the kind of music that most of the young people or teenagers are listening to. But it's good if she can, you get her attention even for that 3 minutes of a song. That's good. Maybe something will sink in. Yeah.
She's great, and things are sinking in. But I think it's kind of, you're right. She's very more attracted by the current songs, but
Sure.
sometimes it's like a break for her. It's like the little treat for her
Yes.
to listen to something a bit different.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Well, I have 3 children, and when they were teenagers when I started doing all this music, so of course they weren't really into it, but it wasn't escaping them because I'd hear them repeat things sometimes to their friends on the phone or something they heard in the song or something I'd said. They didn't really acknowledge it, but it's there, and it's there for life because, I asked my son a little while ago, he's 31, yeah. 30 or 31. I said, how'd you get so wise? Because he was advising me on something. He says, well, I learned it from you. So that was very nice. So it doesn't always show, but it's something that is in there. And they used to tease me if I wasn't living up to what I said and what I wrote and what I was singing. Yes. So they're good reminders. You'll see as she grows up.
Yeah, and I guess it's more. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it works, but it's more like the kind of melody and the kind of uplifting melody and the happy thought and the happy words are resonating differently with children. Of course, she's not going to share this with her friends because I think that this would be a
It's
bit
not
big.
cool.
No,
Not cool enough. Yeah.
no.
It's okay. It's understandable.
So your adventure with Abraham, the teaching of Abraham and Jerry and Esther Hicks, are you still working with them? Are you still going on show with them and
I never
singing?
went on shows with them ever. No. The most they did is introduce me if I was at a conference because I was sitting in the audience. I always wanted to do it because to me it would have been my perfect audience. People were already open to it, but they didn't really want to do that. But they still sell my CDs are available at all their conferences, all their seminars. They're on their website. They use them on a lot of their videos, sometimes at the end or during some of the videos. I think they got so busy and so big that putting out another music CD was not, they weren't interested. I sent them I always send them things. I keep sending them whenever I get new inspiration, new songs. But I almost feel like I had like 10 years, like so much music coming in, and I've kind of reached the point now where it's kind of tapered down. I get the occasional song because I don't actually sit down and say, I'm going to write now. It just comes out. Usually when I'm walking my dog or I'm doing some things like almost like walking meditation, and I start humming things and they just come out. And that's usually the beginning of a song, of a creation, something that's coming out. Then I work on it a little bit, but it usually comes out pretty spontaneously and easily. If it doesn't, then it's not meant to be, and I just leave it alone. And sometimes it'll come back 6 months later. But pretty well. I mean, I've got like I just put all my songs in sheet music, every single one, and so because a lot of people write me, they want chords, they want chords. They're playing guitar or piano, so I just made like lead sheets. And I'm up to 120 songs, so I think I have enough. I don't need more. And then I have a piano CD as well. I play piano and guitar. I have, on that subject of, to change the subject, I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. And she's always been really good to practice with, to see what works with children. And I noticed that whenever you have a song with this 3 words repeating, they pick it up really fast, like joy, joy, joy. And I seem to have a lot of those. They came out that way. I have one called Me, Me, Me. Anyways, we're practicing now because now I've reached the point what I was saying. I finished. It's like I've passed the stage of creating all these songs. I want to go out and perform them, and I'm really looking where I'm going to be doing this. I do the occasional conference, like spiritual conference. There's a big one in Montreal every year called Spiritual Science, and they bring in speakers and authors from all over the world, and I usually do the opening music for them. But other than that, and the occasional little coffee house or spiritual center, I haven't performed all that much, and I've kind of, this is the stage I'm at now. I think I need a manager, and I need some good marketing to get out there to continue.
Yeah. So, how did the teaching of Abraham really change your life? Well, okay, I understand that they really inspired you to maybe to shift a little bit the way that you were doing the music, but in your life itself, how did they really impact you? Did you really attracted everything you needed in your life, or is it just inspiration? Or
well, I think when you first discover Abraham, which for me was in 1999, I went to them with some really big questions because I just lost a very close friend to suicide, and I had questions. And they told me, I met someone there and I said, don't worry, as I had questions, but I'm too nervous and too emotional to ask. But somebody asked my question before the end of the seminar. And what it felt like, I got the answer that I was looking for. I left there feeling like just totally exhilarated, but also answers to everything you ever asked about. And everything I was looking for, that I was asking about, all the questions I'd had all my life, that's where I found my answers. So it felt just absolutely amazing, because in such a simple way, with no, it was just done in a very simple way, and that's what I liked. There's no rituals, no nothing. It's just, this is what it is, and it totally resonated with me. And I really, really liked it. And it's from there, all of a sudden the music started to go with because I was receiving tapes, I think every week or every month, and I was listening so much that the ideas were just coming through. They started to come out musically. Plus, I already had other songs that were just it's like I was on my way there. It didn't happen just like that. I think I'd been working towards it. I think by the time, like they used to say, that's probably happened to you. You give an Abraham CD to somebody, you really want them to listen to it. And if they're not ready, they're going to put it in a drawer and it'll stay there. And a friend of mine, this woman I'd met at a conference on the Maya in Oregon, had told me, I sat next to her, she says, I just came from an Abraham seminar, and she started telling me about Abraham. This was a year before. And it took me a year to finally look into it when I was going through this very difficult time with this friend who ended up taking her life. And I started asking bigger questions, and that's what finally propelled me to go and sit at a seminar. I was in Syracuse, New York. And they don't go there anymore. They used to go there every year, and that's how it all started. Yeah, but you have to be ready, I think, and you when you find something that's answering all your questions, you want to tell everybody about it. This really works. It's so simple. You feel so good, and they say, yeah, sure, and they don't. It doesn't resonate yet with them because they're not ready, I guess, or whenever it comes. We're all on our own individual paths and journey, eh?
Yeah, completely, yeah. And I completely resonate with you when you say this, because I first got Teaching of Abraham probably in 2002, so just after some difficult time in my life, but I couldn't finish the book. I just didn't get it. I knew that there was something in, but I did not get at all.
What were you reading? A New Beginning, probably. New Beginnings?
No, I was reading The Law of Attraction, I think.
The Law of Attraction?
Yeah, but I couldn't really get this. I couldn't understand this dual personality and Abraham and the language, and so I gave up. And it's only in the last 2 years that I reconnected with this. And now,
really?
Now I got it, yeah. It took me a long time.
Yeah. Funny, eh?
But you're right. It is completely when you're ready and when you're receptive, when you have the big questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because before, if you're trying to do it yourself, anyway, this goes in your way. I found so. But when you don't really know what the way is anymore, that's when it's really so useful.
And then, well, I have a story for you. I don't know if you'll want to put this in, but. You get to the point you can get a little bit arrogant with it. Some people do, because they think they know it all. And I probably got a little bit to that point. Now I know everything. I know how things work. Things are working well. And guess what happened? I got breast cancer. I got really sick. And then I started questioning what I didn't go get checked. I'm saying this for people who might rely almost too much, and if there's maybe a sign of an illness, and you hear a lot of things from Abraham, or just go to the beach, or just ignore it and go to a good feeling place and it'll all go away. Well, I did that, and I ended up in deep water, um, for lack of a better word. So it really made me question a lot of things, and you still have to have really use your proper judgment of what it is, how it works. But we hear it all. We think we understand it, but we don't always know how to apply it. And if you're not applying it, something's going to knock you over the head, like what happened to me. And it's sort of, okay, wake up call. What's going on here? It totally turned my life around, to look at things a little bit in a different way, and not be so to have more understanding for people who are not into this, and they have their own path, their own things, rather than say, well, this is the only thing, this works, and that's it, And I encountered a few really good friends that were totally arrogant with me, so, well, obviously you created this because of this, and that. I said, it's not for you to tell me, and I went through really, really difficult year and a half with that. But it was a really good lesson, and there were some really good sides to it too. It brought out finding out who your friends really are. Brought the family together. You can look at all the positives rather than just the negatives, and come out of it stronger and better. But also not to discard anything worse than a headache or something that you think might need looking into. You still go and see a doctor. So I understand Jerry Hicks went through that recently. So none of us are immune to what we create in our lives. It could be, they say, well, sometimes it's pre-paved from non-physical, caused by now, who knows, I think the thing is not to start looking into every little thing that could have caused it, but then try to keep going in a positive way and move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you for this story, because I think that if I can rephrase what you said, is there is still a lesson here that you took on board, and this lesson was for you to be able to look at other people, but not in an arrogant way, as you said, but to be understanding that they are on their own journey and you are on your own journey, and that's probably beautiful to do.
Without judgment, yes. I think what happens when you find something that you love so much, that seems so good and works, you just want to tell everybody, because you want them to know, because it's going to work for them, and not necessarily. Not everybody needs. I've met people that are totally spiritual and Abraham-like, working, in their ways of living. And they don't even know about Abraham. They're just that type of person, that are always uplifted. They're uplifters and they're teachers, and they haven't learned all this stuff. It's just a natural thing. It just comes to them, Maybe they were born that way.
Maybe, and I think nothing is wrong here, but Abraham is just another way for us to get a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to meeting you. You're going to come to Toronto.
That's the plan. The plan is that in November, December, I don't have the date yet, because I'm working on my marketing, and this is the things that I need to learn. We'll come to Toronto with my daughter, and we'll stay probably 2 weekends where we have several workshops. So that will be great, yeah.
That you're going to be giving?
Yes.
You're going to be doing the workshops?
Yes, yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll come to Montreal as well. Have you been here?
No, it will be the first time in Canada. Yeah.
I'd like to interview you, actually, ask you lots of questions.
There is a lot of questions, yeah, and I'm still trying to find the answers, and some of them I'm getting there, some of them I still have the questions, and that's okay, it's a journey. It's
really, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Till the day you die, it's ongoing, doesn't stop. I
Yeah.
was really not amazed or surprised because synchronicities always happen. But I had very interesting reading from through a friend of mine. Uh, the same day I went on your website and listened to your little talk that well, it's not, it was fairly long. It's at least an hour and a half, talking about getting out of your comfort zone. And that's what my reading had been about. And everywhere I turn around these days, that's all I hear: get out of your comfort zone, because I've been kind of I've been getting a little too quiet. I have to sort of get back, move, and I think getting out of my comfort zone for me is going to be to get out there and go and perform, because I haven't done it really for years, where I'm actually doing a complete show, and I keep putting it off, and I say I better get on with this. So that'll be taking me out of my comfort zone. I'll
Which
let
is
you know when I do it.
which is kind of very funny because you are very public with all your songs and everything you're doing, and you're really going out and sharing your message to the world. And then, like everybody that I meet, we all have this kind of little place inside us that doesn't want to go out. It's just wants to stay safe a little bit. And
Actually, I want to go out anywhere where people invite me. It's If I'm setting something up and trying to get people to come to me, I much prefer the other way, where people, like, I've been thinking there's a new thing I don't know if it happens in Europe, where they're called house concerts. Um, and you get enough people together in a city. Let's say I know people now all over the U.S. and all over Canada who've bought my music and who've been in touch with me, and some of them have become good friends. Now, the way the house concert works is they would invite, let's say, 10 or 20 friends, and I go to their house to do a show, and they charge everyone maybe $10 or something minimal, and bring my CDs. So this is kind of a nice personal touch instead of being in a big concert hall. Although ultimately, my dream, my vision is to be in a big concert hall and have a choir of children singing with me. The children are the guardians of the world. Do you know that song? Have you heard that song? I don't know what songs you have or what CDs you have.
I think I have a new adventure and Joy, Joy, Joy.
Okay, so you don't have much of the children's music. Because I wanted to send it to you. I didn't know if I should email it to you, because I can send it to you so easily if you can download. But this is a beautiful song. It was written with the original English lyrics with a woman in England. She sent me the lyrics, and then I wrote a French and a Spanish part in the song. So it's in 3 languages, and this song is what they're using the most in the schools. And I have other songs too with children that I would just love. I just get goosebumps when I hear young children singing. It's just so beautiful. So on this song, I'll send it to you after. There's children's choir singing with me, and that's my dream, is to really do a big show with the musicians. A lot of the different musicians I've used over the years, like I have a song called "Spirit is Calling." You haven't heard that either, which has Paraguayan harp in it. I love I speak Spanish, and I've lived in Mexico, and I love the Paraguayan harp. And in other songs, I have cello and beautiful classical guitar, and like a real mixture. It's very eclectic. Because my background in music has been with Latin music from living in Mexico, with country music, with French music, because one of my favorite singers when I was growing up was Edith Piaf. So I loved, a sort of French dramatic stuff. Yeah, put it all together.
Yeah,
Variety.
that sounds like a good dream. But you're talking about children in schools. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening in schools? Are they using your CDs and your songs, or?
It hasn't been that easy because the teachers are not all on that wavelength, and it's starting slowly. And I was introduced to one teacher about 3-4 years ago, teaching grade 1 and 2, and she just fell in love with my music and started using it a lot with her students. And at the end of the year, for the past 2-3 years, she's been putting on a little show for the parents at the end of the year and using 90% my music. And they usually invite me to watch, or I go in and sing with them. And she's now retired, and we're talking about putting a series of books out using my songs for reading, to teach them how to read, and put a CD with each book. So let's say you put It's Up to Me, If I Want to Be Happy, but she has, because she's been teaching for over 30 years, you have to go according to the reading level of the children. So you have to make it, take the simplest ones, like me. And she's the one that's how we're going to work it out together. So right now I'm looking for a designer to do the artwork and then get them into the schools. And ultimately what I would really love to do, or what we talked about, is that we'll go in the schools together, and because she's the teacher and she's had so much experience teaching and knows how the classroom works and how what to say, and she knows the workings in the school environment, and I'll have the music. So we'll do it, we can sort of complement each other. And I'm really looking forward to doing something. But we've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and I hope it gets going soon. Yeah, that's sort of my main focus right now, is that, and also just performing. And
that's great. I have another question before, because I think that you want to perform, which will be great. When people are in hospital or in healthcare centers, I think that your songs are very, very useful, I would say, and that this can help them also to find a different way for themselves. No?
Yes. I used to sing in hospitals. I used to play music in senior centers, but then I just played background piano. Sometimes I've been singing in places, a lot of like senior homes, but they're for like people that are still, totally can be independent. And I've done shows in places where people say, "Oh yeah, I like her music, but she's so positive." And it's like a bit too much for them because they're not actually there. You have to sort of bring them up. I found this out from a friend who's a music therapist. You have to go get the people at the level where they are. You can't jolt them with something up there when they're down there. And you have to really feel that out, what's appropriate. And so, playing background piano is always appropriate. It's quiet and it's not intrusive. And I used to play all the old songs, that the older people know, that my mother used to play. So I just love singing. I just want to show you my old guitar because it's really an old guitar. See that?
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the guitar I use all the time. And it's I bought it from a flamenco player who was passing through Montreal a good 40 years ago, if not more. And it's full of cracks and everything, but it has a really nice sound. I just love it. So I say it's my appendage. I just love it. I have others too, but this is my favorite.
So you want to sing something first now? Or?
I don't know.
I'll
do a few songs and you can decide what you want to keep.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite children's songs. 2468, 2468. Who do I appreciate? Me. I love myself exactly as I am. I love myself, I'm doing the best I can. 2468, 2468, who do I appreciate? Me. Me, 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 yes, me.
That was great. Yeah.
That's a simple one, yeah. Um, this was, I have to tell you, a lot of the songs uh, in the late 90s, early 2000, I started, you know what busking is?
Not really,
You
no.
know, when you see musicians out on the street playing for money?
Okay.
I started doing that in one of the Montreal metros. And it was a great place to practice, and it was like a long tunnel that had the most beautiful echo, natural, beautiful sound. And I'd go in there and play. You had to take like 2 hours, 2 hour slots, and I'd be playing, and in between songs, I didn't know what to do, and I'd start playing little riffs, anything, you know. And a lot of songs came to me just from standing there because I wasn't thinking. I was like just watching people and playing anything. And that's how even the song A New Adventure came to me, because I started playing this. Go where you want to go, do what you want to do, be who you want to be, in freedom and joy, in freedom and joy. Now, that was only just that part, and then later on, I came up with every day a new adventure, every day a new beginning. As I reach out and discover the magic in the joy of living. Go where you want to go. Anyway, so I put the two together. They didn't come at the same time. And that's how songs are born. The other song that's one of my favorites, you know, Joy to the Universe, that's on the New Adventure CD.
Maybe. I don't remember the name.
I started that also in the metro. It goes, anyway, so on. And I decided to record this with just the awe. I didn't have words or anything. I didn't write. And I put it out. I played it for a friend, and she said, "You need to have words to this." I just called the awe song because I added all the vocals. I do all the vocals myself, so all the harmonies, and which is really good. You've heard of toning? When you tone your body by making sounds, you know, you can go really high sounds, really low sounds. Well, this song turned out to be like that a little bit. I started recording and the awe, and then I'll try harmony there and a harmony there, and I ended up with a whole big choir. And I do all this in my living room. So, anyways, I felt so good after, because that's one song I can do with an audience. Everybody picks their own note and they can sing all this background, and then I can sing the words, which came like quite a few months later. Ended up with Joy to the Universe. And that's the very first song I sent to Jarry and Esther Hicks, because I just sent them that particular song to thank them for their work and everything, and the inspiration. And they actually wrote back a little note saying, you know, you really captured the essence of Abraham with that song. And I said, well, it's totally, I almost feel like, you know, they just come out through me. I'm just like, it's a channel, you know, like that's what inspiration is. When you're inspired to something, it's coming from, I would say, a higher place. And it came out that way. And I'm lucky that I can receive it and put it out through music.
Which is a great gift, and it's great that you are sharing this with the world, because But I think also that because you are now in this receiving place, that you're allowing this to come to you also.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Because sometimes I think every writer, they call it writer's block. You figure, I'll never write another song. There's no more coming. I feel like that now. I think I've said everything I have to say. I don't have anything more to say. Who knows what's going to come next? I hear a lot of times, I just hear a phrase, I read a line in a book, and this, I did music for, I don't know if you ever heard of Alan Cohen. He's written a book, his very first well-known book was called The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And I was at a conference, and I had met him in Hawaii a couple of years before, and he was at a conference in Montreal, and he asked me, he saw that I was doing music, so he asked me to do music for his particular workshop. And he had a book, little tiny book called Are You As Happy As Your Dog? And after he left, I said, this title's too good to pass up, and the song just came to me. And then I wrote to him, I said, Alan, I used your title, but you can't copyright a title, but it's polite to ask the owner, can I use your... Anyways, so... Are you as happy as your dog? Are you as happy as you'd like to be? If you keep thinking what you always thought, you keep getting what you always got. If what you have's not what you're looking for, and deep inside you know there's got to be more. Anyway, see, there's quite a profound few words in there about your thoughts. Yeah, that sort of, kids like it, but they don't, I don't know if they understand what they're... what these words are, but you keep thinking what you always thought. Nothing's going to change, You have to change your thoughts first. Anyways, so that's how that song came about.
But again, for kids, it's not really important to understand exactly everything. It's how they apply this in their own life. That is important.
Yes. Yeah. I can begin again. I can begin again. I can. Yes, I can. I can begin again. I can begin again. I can. Yes, I can. I can begin again. Choose to feel good again. Appreciate again. Fall in love with life again. I can begin again. No matter where I've been, I can begin again now. If I said something I wish I hadn't said, if I did something I wish I hadn't done, if I thought something I wish I hadn't thought. Whoops. So what? I can begin again. I can. Yes, I can. I can begin again. I can. Yes, I can. I can begin again. Choose to feel good again. Appreciate again. Fall in love with life again. I can begin again. No matter where I've been, I can begin again now. I can begin again now. That's a real sloppy version.
Sloppy version, but you put tears in my eyes, the start, so which was not really.
I've always had a vision of getting a choir of adults who've gone through serious challenges and just get on and sing this song, because to me it feels so much like positive, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what you said, no matter what anybody thinks, it's just to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Still, there's a lot of emotion behind this, and I could feel this, and
yeah,
which is good. It's nice, very nice.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad it put little tears in your eyes. I'd like to touch. It's good if it evokes emotion, which is good. I want to tell you about this CD. See this?
Going home, yeah.
Going home. This is. I said to you, I have songs for the afterlife. There are songs and quotes for the journey home. And are you interested in this? You want me to tell you about this?
Come, yeah.
Everything does go back to, everything I've learned over the years. And a lot, Abraham talked a lot about there is no death and life goes on, we carry on. And between 1995 and the year 2000, I lost a lot of close friends and people I've been in relationship with who passed away. There were so many, so fast. And this CD, the songs started coming to me almost like I was having a conversation with them. So some of them are written like from their perspective. It's almost like they're talking to me, and that's what the song Going Home is about. But I haven't played it for a while, so I'm not going to play it for you. But I put it out with a little booklet, and I found a lot of really comforting quotes from different places. Some are from Abraham, but a lot of them are from, they are good for, people have mostly memorial services now or celebrate the life of someone rather than a funeral. Mm-hmm. And these are, I've sung at a few of these ceremonies. And, for people that are they've reached that level of understanding, not everybody has, but it will come, in the future. But it's a beautiful CD. If you've lost anyone, it just makes you feel better. Some songs they're a little bit sad, but they're also soothing and comforting. And I have a song called "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep. I am not there. I do not sleep." And that's a poem that was written. It's a poem that had been written a good 50 years ago by a woman called Mary Fry. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I have a song for all occasions, almost.
But I think that it's our journey in life.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting to have this, important to have this, yeah.
Variety.
Yeah, variety, but also we all have different stages and we all have different challenges and different good times and not so good times, and I think it's important to have this, to be able to honor each of them.
Well, if it were all good times, it wouldn't be good. It'd be boring, probably. Yeah. How would you wouldn't be learning? Although sometimes, they call it, you have to sort of bless the contrast, but boy, sometimes you really don't want it. No,
sometimes you don't want it to. Okay,
no.
Francine, our time is up now. So.
Oh, that's too bad. That was really fun.
So, if people want to get in contact with you and get your CDs, the best place is to go on your website, I guess, yeah? Yes.
I'm in the process of redoing it, but it's quite... the website is called rainbowmusic.ca. That's very simple. Rainbowmusic.ca. From the website, if you go on the music page, you can see all the CDs that are available. Some of them, like the Joy CD is available through Abraham Hicks, but you can go directly to them. But I also have some. From the music page, you can go. I have a site called Broadjam, where I have all the CDs there, and you can listen to the complete songs, whereas on the website, you can listen to short samples. If you go to iTunes, also from my website, or just directly to iTunes with my name, you can listen to samples, but you can't hear the whole song unless you buy it. Whereas on Broadjam, you can hear the whole song before deciding if you want to buy it. Or you can just what they call streaming, you can just play them.
So thank you very much, Francine, and I'm looking forward to meeting you very, very soon, and I hope that when I'm in Canada, we can do something together.
I certainly hope so. That's what I wanted to ask you about. Yes,
Okay.
and when you're coming. That. Thank you for having me. That was really fun. It was so nice meeting you.